this video we're going to take a look at the Mixolydian Mode, what we can learn from it by looking at AC/DC songs. Now, one of the first things you'll notice when learning any amount of AC/DC songs is that they all seem to be written using the same open chords: E, A, D, G and C. But is there more going on than meets the eye? Well, in an example like Highway to Hell, which we started off with, which goes from an A, D/F sharp to G, pretty simple, nothing overly complicated there. But we may think that we're in the key of A major. If we look at the key of A major, A, B, C, D and E are the fourth and fifth, so there's no E in there. So what are we doing? Well, we're actually in A Mixolydian, so we're actually in the key of D, starting on the fifth. So if you look at the key of D, D, E, F, G and A. So we're starting on the fifth, going to the first and then the fourth. And that song's made up of that three chords, really. Pretty simple. Now if we look at Back in Black, a little bit more complex. In these videos I don't want to concentrate that much on like the guitar solos as such, but just the basic structure of the songs. And we've done what we can learn from the Beatles and what we can learn from Queen, series of them videos. So this is really in connection with them. So if we look at something like Back in Black, which again seems very simple: E, D to A. At first we might think, oh, in the key of E, E, D and A, no big deal there, pretty simple chords. We are actually in E Mixolydian, so we're actually in the key of A, starting on the fifth. A, B, C, D and E. So we're in the key of A, starting on the fifth. But it does get a little bit more interesting than that. When we come to that section, we're going from A to E, and then there's a B in there. So where's that B coming from? Because that isn't in the key of A. It would be a B minor. Well, if we look at the key of E major, E, F, G, A, B. So the B is actually in E major, so it's borrowed from E major. So it's kind of mixing and matching here. Then we go G. Where's the G coming from? Well, that's interesting as well, because if we look at the key of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, would be a G sharp. The chord would be G sharp diminished. And if you remember from the other videos, the secret with the seventh is flatten it and make it major. So he's done that using the G. So in this, we're in E Mixolydian, we've borrowed B from the E major, and we've taken the G from the A, flattened it, made it major. So although all the chords in this are fairly straightforward, they're nothing too complicated, you can see where he's borrowing the chords from. Now I have another song, like You Shook Me All Night Long. Fairly straightforward. G, D and C. That is very simply in the key of G, A, B, C and D, fourth and fifth. It's a 1-4-5 song. So not all the songs are in Mixolydian, but really what we can learn from that, even though this isn't what the video is about, is dynamics. And they're using simple chords to great effect, almost complete opposites to the way we looked at the Beatles and Queen, and how diverse and experimental chord progressions were. And this is almost genius in a different way of being able to use very simple chords to maximum effect and have a career of something like 50 years. I think, yeah, it will be 50 years. It's quite frightening. Then we come to this one. Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Again, another one of them songs that fairly straightforward. E, G5, back to E, A to E, D to E. It's not going to win any prizes for new and unusual chords, and it seems very simple. But again, we've got the E, the A, and the D. So we're actually in E Mixolydian, got A, B, C, D, and E being the fourth and fifth. But we also have that G5 in there. Again, as we talked about before, in the key of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's the seventh. We've flattened it, made it major. In this case, made it a fifth, so it's neither major nor minor, and that's where that chord's coming from. And again, another brilliant song, which is not complicated as such, but it's borrowing chords, and that's kind of how where all these chords are coming from. And it says, when you look at these, I was teaching. It is interesting looking at how the structure of these songs are written. I had two twins actually that I was teaching guitar to, and they were massive AC/DC fans, and they got to a point where at first they were looking at the guitar tab to learn the structures of the songs and the riffs, and they got to a point where, because all the chords in the songs were the same, they got to a point where they could work out the rhythm to each song by listening to it. And that's a really good trick if you're trying to learn these. It's a really good starting point for learning. Now we'll come to this one of my favourite AC/DC songs. Shoot the Thrill. A, G, D. Again, it's A Mixolydian. So in the key of D, E, F, G, and A. So it's the first, fourth, and fifth. It's starting on the fifth, going to the fourth, then finishing on the first. Then again, it gets a little bit more interesting with the... So it's going from a C to a G, back to C again. So where's the C coming from? Well, if we're in the key of D, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, the seventh, there's that seventh again, flattening it, making it major, and there that's where that's borrowed from. We have the D, A, D, E, 7 sharp and ninth, the Jimi Hendrix chord. Where's that coming from? Well, if we're in the key D, E is a minor, it's playing the seventh instead, so that's where that's coming from. But that's what one thing that you'll notice about a lot of AC/DC songs. They're all in major keys, which is an unusual thing for a heavy metal band as such, to be in a major key. That a lot of them tend to be in minor ones. One that is in a minor key is Hell's Bells. An awful lot of titles with the word hell or hells in it as well with AC/DC songs. Now this one is in A minor, so you could be forgiven for thinking that it's just in A minor. Section it goes G, D, then C to G/B to that A power chord. What's going on there? So this is a case where it's actually in A Dorian. So the key of G major, which gives us G, the A minor, B, C, and D, which is a subject for another video. In other videos in connection with this, we'll probably be looking at how to write metal riffs using Locrian and how to use write metal riffs using Phrygian in the style of Metallica as well. So watch out for those videos, and as always, thank you for watching.